Greetings, my non-existent loyal viewers. I know it's been a while, but I'm here for one purpose, since I really don't do videos too much anymore, and that is to explain a recently plotted out understanding of a very good friend's YouTube sensation serial series, if that makes sense. My friend Tom Dickinson of NowWeAreAllTom and his amazing story Tomline. He welcomed theories and opinions, and I found my excuse too verbose and long to type out in the comments, so I decided to post it here so you can all comment, tell me what you think, edit, critique, whatever. I really don't expect any confirmation or denial from the man himself, since that goes against everything I know about Tom and his dedication to his craft. So here goes. Sorry about the angle change. I'm just trying to find a place where my glasses don't reflect the light from my webcam. Since I don't have a fancy camera and I have to use the one on my computer, it makes it a little bit difficult. And if I look up, you can see the glare and the reflection of the screen in my lenses. So I'm just going to look down like this, so don't think me weird. But in Season 1 of Tomline, we are introduced to the ideas of time skips and time loops. Watching his objective playlist, the way it plotted out from June 1st through June 30th, we find confusion and conversation broken up, a storyline broken up because of the time skips, where a story he started telling in, say, the first week of the month is touched on again in the middle of the month and then hit up again at the end of the month. This led some people to believing there may have been multiple Toms and had trouble keeping track of which Tom is which throughout the course of the story. However, if you watch the subjective view that he highlighted in his final video, last of the month, of the Tomline Season 1 set of videos, you can see that there is but one Tom throughout most of the series. As you can see, the episodes with multiple Toms are just him at different points in his time jump timeline. It's all the same Tom jumping around back and forth. This breaks, though, when you hit 24th of the month, when there is a video where supposedly no previous version of Tom is available, but the Tom riding the slow track is not the one we see. Another Tom pops in. This is who I will call Tom 2 for now. So Tom 2 has some immediate knowledge of the plot taking place, the series. He is aware of the time jumps, he's aware of the 13 jumps and slow path, and he understands what is going on. He seems to be in charge of the Twitter feed NowWeAreAllTom, which Tom speaks about in his last of the month video, which told the viewers which Toms were on screen by telling you how many jumps the current Tom on screen had. But, as Tom also mentions, Tom Classic also mentions, Tom 2 has no knowledge of the month of June that this all happens in, and he has to go back and check whether he had posted videos every day in June. So this confuses it. Is he an alternate timeline Tom, which I think he clearly is, or is he a future version of Tom who just had some kind of memory lapse, which is not very practical. But we see him have an on-screen conversation over the phone with some kind of brains behind the operation who is helping him through some technological means, apparently, coordinate the time jumps, the Twitter feed, and use the camera as their method. All this really tells us is that the camera is their tool, but we'll get to later the fact that I don't think there is a problem with the fact that Tomline Series 2 has not used the camera so far, since all it is a tool, and there's nothing saying that it has to be the only tool, as we see the car becomes the time jumping item in Series 2 or Season 2. But the question remains, who is the guy on the other side of the phone, and why is this Tom 2 appearing in the classic universe? Now that brings us to the post-credit Easter egg in Last of the Month, where a third Tom pops into the familiar room, but it's one lacking some details. The lighting is darker, the bookshelf is disheveled in disarray, and there's a lot of empty space on it, which does not really seem very Tom of it. And we're left to wonder if this is a future version of either one of the Toms, or maybe a past version. For now, I'm going to label him Tom Trace, because I'm silly like that. But he seems to be unfamiliar with the whole time jump side effect, and he faints as a result of it. So this would preclude him from being one of the other two Toms we've already come into contact with, unless he is a past version of Tom 2 before he is acclimated, since he can't very well be a past version of Classic Tom, or else Classic Tom would understand the time loop concept. That brings us to the first serial, which was recently completed this last week, of Season 2 of Tomline, featuring the Malevolent Ducks, as I have claimed to name them. I disregard the original Ducks trilogy as part of Tomline, though he has put them in a Tomline Season 1.9 playlist, because it wouldn't make sense, since those all happened during the month of April when he was doing Vuda, and the Tomline story was in June. So I think Tom just saw an opportunity to use this for his Series 2, and made those two connect in a way that was feasible. So I'm just going to focus on the 5-part series that he just released with the Ducks. So all we can really glean from these episodes is that this current Tom, who I will call Delivery Tom, wants revenge on someone. We don't know who. And Charles and the second Duck, who, if Tom named, I missed that, and I'm not a very observant watcher, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm just going to call him Duck 2 for now, clearly want the time anomaly, whichever that is. We don't know what it is. And that they're just using this Tom to go in and find the time anomaly, who they dispatch other Toms from alternate timelines as they go, as we see in the 4th episode, well, combined between the 3rd and the 4th episode. But we don't know whether they've even reached Classic Tom, Tom 2, or even Tom Trace. Though Tom 2 could be the final Tom we see at the end of Destination, Episode 5. So what does this all mean? What this means is we know Tom 2 is jovial on the phone with the mastermind. So the mastermind behind the original series cannot be the Ducks, since every other Tom we've seen coming into contact with Charles and Duck 2 has been on a hate-hate basis with them. They don't like the Ducks, they're against the Ducks disgust them. So we know that the Ducks are not the people that Tom 2 is talking to on the phone. My theory, and this is where you can start to poke holes in it if you would like, or comment on it, tell me what you think, tell me I'm an idiot, tell me I'm a genius. Don't tell me I'm a genius, my head will get big. That the Ducks have an evil plan, which they need the time anomaly to enact. So they're using Delivery Tom to try to find the time anomaly. The Mastermind and Tom 2 are using their time-skipping ability on the camera to help build up a knowledge of their weaponry they can use as a way to stop the evil plan. So, they use Tom Classic as a test subject, and Tom 2 just happens to get caught in the act. So this would mean that Tom 2 is not a future Tom Classic. He is an alternate timeline version, which I've already established. Something, however, has gone wrong, and Tom 2 and Tom Classic have ended up stuck in the same timeline, and more accurately in the same house, as the two Toms we see at the end of the Series 2 first serial is Tom Classic first and then Tom 2 second. So now Delivery Tom is going to be stuck there with them. But we need to know, why does Delivery Tom want revenge? My theory continues that Tom Trace is Tom the Delivery Man. Delivery Tom is just Tom Trace, who was teleported to that dystopian land at the end of Last of the Month, and he wants revenge on whoever sent him there. But since he doesn't know who sent him there, he doesn't have an idea of who he needs to go after. The Ducks come to him with a plan, and possibly the mastermind behind the Ducks is the guy who sent Tom Trace there in the first place. So, in this way, since he's unfamiliar, Tom Trace is unfamiliar with the nature of the Ducks, who they'll be working for, he works with them, and they work with him in a way of keeping your enemies closer. So, what does this mean for the future? I have no idea, but I have a suspicion that this is an homage to Mr. Tom, the storyteller, behind the camera, not any of the on-screen Toms, to his favorite show, and that he's planning a time war. But instead of Daleks and Time Lords, we have Toms and Ducks. I can only look forward to where this is going in October with the second serial of Series 2, Season 2, whatever he wants to call it. But That's just my theory so far going forward. And maybe if my explanations so far have straightened out some of the confusion some of the other commenters have had so far, all the better. Maybe you'll understand it a little more, take a little more pleasure from it. This is D-Flips signing out.